So hi everybody, I'm Clemens. I'm from the company Creative Workline. We are actually a mobile app development agency. So usually developing apps for Android and iOS, mainly native. But this is not why I'm here today. I'm here today because I want to talk about developing a Messenger chatbot, so Facebook Messenger chatbot with node.js. Actually, this should be red, like the logo. Yeah, this is our color. But yeah, somehow it's not red. Very close, yeah. But just imagine this is red, okay? So yeah, why I want to talk, or why I can talk about this, is obviously because we developed a bot. This was Tony, or this is Tony, the Euro 2016 chatbot for the football championships in France. Yeah, we launched it like 2 days after the Euro started. So 1 week, like in the week before the Euro, we had the idea, okay, let's develop a chatbot. So this was a very quick project. But it's going on, and after the Euro, we're gonna develop it further. And yeah, you will see. So what Tony can do is, like, you can ask him when does Germany play, or how did Austria play against Iceland, for example, or give me the group of England, for example, and it will give you the group table of group B or whatever. Also, Tony can update you with live score information. So when you subscribe to live updates, you will get a notification via Messenger with the when a game starts, or when a game ends, or when a new goal is scored in a game. And you can also subscribe to roundups, so daily roundups, where every day in the morning you will get a notification about last day's game and the game of this day. So actually now there's no more notifications because Euro is over. So there's a little screencast that should start, right? So this is Tony. This is actually an older version. It was recorded during the Euro. We've already developed it further. But for example, you can write England's games, and it will show you the games of England. So you see it's a natural language recognition and processing. You can write, for example, 3, like as a word, and it will recognize that it's the number 3, and it will give you the 3 results. Actually, this on the left side, you can scan this image. It's like a code. You can scan it with your Messenger app, and it will jump directly into the message with the conversation with Tony. Yeah, so he knows all the groups, all the games, all the results. Yeah, that's basically just to give you an introduction of what Tony can do. So now a little bit theory about, we already heard about chatbots in Slack before. So a little bit about the theory, or what chatbots are. So actually chatbots have been around for a lot of years, so you probably know it's nothing new actually. But in history, chatbots were usually quite rule-based or transactional. So with a more command-oriented form, like from Slack, for example, you have to type a slash and then a command, and it will do something for you. But within the last, let's say, months, conversational bots, there was really a hype around conversational bots because of, on the one hand, Facebook opening its API to developers, and on the other hand, the rise of new let's say, services and engines that basically give you all this kind of natural language processing basically for free. So there are services around, they are free or they cost very little, and you can use all the power of natural language processing. And this allows you to, as you saw before, interact in a more human way, like bots pretending to be human. Well, this is like, there's a little bit of discussion going on around this topic, whether a bot should be really a human-like or more going back to a more like transactional way because the expectations of the user. So it's kind of difficult when you try to be a bot that acts like a human, because then people have different expectations. So but all these kind of things are, you know, pretty new, and a lot of people trying out stuff and finding a way how it works best. So the other thing is the messenger platforms, obviously. So you have Facebook Messenger, Line, Kik, Telegram, Skype, Slack, HipChat. So from a more like customer B2C messaging platforms to business-oriented platforms like Slack and HipChat or Skype. So all these have opened their, let's say, ecosystem for developers, so they can plug in and hook into their system. Okay, so once again the cool animation. Yeah. So now moving forward to the architecture of our bot, or Tony the bot. So there's not really any magic around it. Basically, of course, we need the Facebook Send API. This is like where you get the messages in with a webhook, and then you send it back again to Facebook when you have a response. Basically, that's a send-receive API. Then, like in the center, is this node.js app, which is using Express as a server, web server, for the webhook. In our case, it's deployed on App Engine, which I think is really nice, because basically you type one command, like gcloud app deploy, and it will deploy it on a scalable environment. But be aware that Node.js support on Google App Engine is still in beta version, so yeah. But I think it works quite well already. Then we have MongoDB for storing the users and sessions and so on, which is hosted with MLab. MLab is a database service provider that hosts MongoDB in the cloud. So it also hosted on Google Cloud Platform, so in the same data center, basically. You can get this actually nearly for free, this setup, because if you start with a lot of, like a few requests only, or just one instance, it's really cheap. And then where the magic comes in is with AI, which is the bot engine that's backing the bot. So this is a company that was a startup that was acquired by Facebook, like I think 2 years ago or so. And I will talk about with AI in a moment. And of course we need the data. So the data is like the football games and the scores, and but this is yeah, depends on the use case of your bot, whatever data you need. Yeah. So with AI. With AI is a bot engine, as I said. So what you can do there is, in a nice, let's say, not so technical, but really user-friendly, interface, you can define your user conversations. Like, you can define the templates for how your user will communicate with the bot, like the stories. So You see the user types something, hi, my name is John in this example, and then you get an entity called contact with the value John, and then there's a function called merge, which is a function that you define in your JavaScript, for example. It will be called by the engine, it will be executed, and then you execute another, or the bot executes another function called say, and this will basically send the message back to Facebook with a variable, the name again. So this is a very easy example, and you define all your conversations, in this web interface.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Did you use this named entity recognition engine for anything you couldn't use regex for, or like, is there a complex thing you can do?
Yeah, there's a lot. I will show it on the next slide. So they have like built-in support for like extracting date. So for example, when you say tomorrow or next Friday, so they will give you the exact date of next Friday, whenever this is, So that's really nice. Even you can send in text, voice. So you could send in a MP3 file to them, and they will give you back the structured data of what the users said. So the second thing, so the one thing is the conversations, as I showed you, the stories, and the other thing is the natural language processing. So WIT will, or other engines, they will extract structured data out of the natural language. So in this case, when the user writes, post the last 3 pictures I took on Facebook, it will extract things like the intent is to share, social media is Facebook, limit is 3, media is picture. So, but of course you have to teach it to the engine. So there's like a interface where you can enter sentences and then you can mark the parts of the sentence, and you need to teach the bot so that it becomes more intelligent.
But you don't have to put all the phrases in there.
No, just a few, not every possible combination. Yeah, that would make
Other languages? Or just
yeah. So English is very well supported, I would say. Other languages are supported as well, like German and a lot of other languages. Yeah, not as well as English, I would say. So yeah, but that's with most of the stuff. So there is not only WIT. WIT is a company of Facebook. Like every other big player has this kind of services. For example, Microsoft with Louis, IBM Watson, you probably heard of it. And also last week, I think Thursday or Friday last week, Google announced that Cloud Natural Language API, so very similar to WIT. It's still in beta, but yeah, it's really interesting. So, time for some code, right? Because we should show code. What I'm going to show is go through a quick example of the template, or the boilerplate code from WIT itself for Node.js and Messenger. So this is also the thing with which we started. So it's the base for Tony. Okay, so you can this is on a public GitHub repo. Basically, there are the instructions what you need to do to get it up and running. When you do this, you have a first version of a chatbot for Facebook Messenger with WIT AI. You can run it locally on your machine with another tool that I'll show you on the next slide. So yeah, you need to import some libraries like Express, of course, which is the server. Then you need the WIT library. You don't need the WIT library, but you could also use the API, the REST API from them. But they are providing a nice Node SDK, so it's easy to use. You need some kind of token. You need all those Facebook page IDs and tokens and secrets. So and this method is like the code to send a message back to the user via Facebook API. So there's no magic in it. It's just calling a post, making a post request to a URL of the Graph API from Facebook, and passing the recipient the Facebook ID of the recipient. It's not actually the Facebook ID, but it's an ID that is only for your Facebook page. And you pass the message, which is like a text. Then another thing you need to do is need to have some kind of session handling. So you need to store the user sessions, because you get one message from the user, then you send back something, and then again you get another message from the user, and you need to have a way to know that it's the same session. Yeah. So because you need to pass the session to ViennaJS, so that ViennaJS knows this is the same conversation. So what they're doing here is just what you shouldn't do in production probably, is just storing the sessions in an object in the memory, or on the heap, and just making a mapping of Facebook ID to session ID with some ISO string date. So what we did basically is to replace this method and storing the sessions in MongoDB. So the user IDs and the sessions, which is really nice in MongoDB because you can store JSON, actually, binary JSON. So then you need to define some actions. These are the actions that the bot will execute at certain stages in their conversations. So here we have one action only, which is the send action, and the send action does only send back the message using this FB message method that we saw before. So this will be executed by the bot, by the SDK of WIT. Basically, these few lines are for setting up WIT, the WIT library. And here you see that you pass in this array, or not array, this object of actions. So you can define your functions. For example, in our case, one function is find game by date. So go to the database of all the football games and find it by date. Pass in the date, and the engine will execute this action and will search for the games. So then we have the Express setup, Express server. There we have and then we have the webhook. So the webhook is basically the entry point for Facebook, which Facebook will call and send you a new message in the body. So you can go through it's a JSON object, and you can get the text out of the message, or you can even get attachments. So a user could send an emoji. An emoji is not an attachment, but he could send you can even react on emojis. For example, we do it when he sends a German flag, we switch to the German league or something like this. So you can do that. Or he could send a location, or he could send an image, or whatever.
How are those discoverable? How is it discoverable that they can do that? It seems pretty...
Yeah. It's like you mean how the users know that they can... Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that's because they don't know what will happen when they send an image, actually. But you need to... This is more of a UI, like UI usability question, yeah. Probably won't know it until you tell them.
Isn't that the purpose of a message bot anyway, that people write the way they write, so they would discover it anyway?
Yeah.
So they are used to
They try with
emojis, so they just use an emoji and suddenly it works. So
yeah,
you don't have to explain anything.
yeah,
Otherwise, you could just create a form.
yeah. If you need to explain it, then probably it's not the right thing because then it's too.
Everything. If the bot handles everything,
Well, if it doesn't have then whatever you send it, it just tells you what you know to do.
then it's a guessing game.
Sure, that's what
That's true for any bot.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about this later. So then you get the message in and you just say with run with actions and you're passing in a session, you're passing in the text. And the bottom thing is the context. So the context of this session is all the things that are put, so you put things on the, like you put properties on the context that are important in the conversations. So for example, the context could be team is Germany. And then when the user asks, when do they play? So you know that in the message before they said Germany. So you must know that on the context, Germany is the property of the team. So in the next message, you know that when they ask when is the next game, they mean Germany, or they probably mean Germany. Like when you talk to people, you build up a context in your conversation. So you must remember that context in your engine or in your bot engine. So we are doing this by storing it in the database. They are doing here in this example. It's just stored in the memory. So basically, this is all based on promises. So they changed it like a few weeks ago. Everything was first with callbacks. So they changed everything to promises. So we had to change all our code. But yeah, it's now I think it's nicer, better than this callback hierarchy. So basically that's the code. The last thing is just that you need to verify the signature of the message that comes in so that you know it's really from Facebook and not somebody else sending a message to your server and trying to break your bot or whatever. So you just check for a signature. And then you start, you listen on a certain port, and well, that's basically the code, everything you need for a first version of the bot. Obviously, this bot won't do a lot, just returning the text. So one tool you probably need, I want to show you, is ng-rock. Who knows ng-rock? Yeah, okay. Some know. So because for testing, when you run it on your local machine, Facebook needs to call a webhook on your local machine. So if you're behind the firewall, then they won't get through. So you can start this tool, small tool up, and they will basically dig a hole through your firewall. Yeah. But it's a secure channel, and you will get this forwarding, you will get this domain DNS name that points to your localhost port 3000 or whatever you define, and so you can test locally, and Facebook can call your webhook, basically. Okay. People will ask things you would have never expected. So do some kind of beta testing, or people test it with friends, and you will be amazed what people can ask. For example, yeah, people always asking who will win. So yeah, okay. If I wouldn't know that, then I would be probably a rich man. So people will also try to challenge, now it's mainly early adopters trying out bots, so they are the people who try to see what's the limit of the bot, how can they troll it or whatever. So be aware of that, have some kind of fallback, so when there's a message that you don't understand, just say something funny or smart, or give some help, give some indication what they can do. As I said before, the bot bot should probably not be too human, because then it's kind of strange, because it's not a human, it's still a machine, it's not so intelligent. You know, technology is not as far as some people think. It won't take over world domination pretty soon. So go back. So don't try to do everything with text. Use the things you get from the platform. So Facebook provides buttons, you can send images, you can send structured messages, and use emojis. Well, there's a conversation about this if this is too childish or not, but most bots are using them a lot. Language matters. So we are coming from like a visual app development thing. So we are used to guiding the user using visual clues. But with bots, it's much more important that you think about what kind of language you use. You use also people who are not like fluently in English, they won't probably use the English bot too much. So you need to think about which languages you want to provide to your user, which the bot will understand and answer. So things are moving pretty fast in this field. So with AI is doing a lot of things. They cannot answer support questions because they're too busy implementing new stuff. Facebook will make breaking changes every now and then. So be aware of that this is still, yeah.
One question, what's your experience with misspellings of words? How do the APIs deal with that?
They will recognize a lot of things, but not everything. So yeah, it can lead to some frustration for the user if he doesn't recognize that he made a mistake, but the bot won't answer. So yeah. You can do, for example, when you have team names like Austria, Germany, you can try different variations. Like you can make expectations what the user could type wrong, and then you can also check these, for example.
That's something that you can do on your side, right?
Yeah.
Like using dictionary and Winkler distance, something like
that. Yeah. So, okay. Node.js and MongoDB is really nice together. So, yeah. So, a quick outlook for Tony. So, we're now adding, or have already added other leagues that will start in August, like Bundesliga, English Premier League, Spanish Primera Division. We're working on German language support, usability improvements, better notification system for more granular, top scorer information, yeah, new ideas, other ideas. Technically, probably think about using TypeScript because, yeah. Or Dart. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there are some links where you can look up. There's the guys from Swell, maybe you know Swell, it's an app startup. They released a universal bot framework for Node.js, so it can handle all the different messenger platforms. So check it out if you want. Yeah. Thank you.
Questions? One there. Shoot. Okay, just a short one. How many users did you have? And another one, how is the connection between the graphical interface where you click the message breakdown thing and your code?
Okay, so first question was how many users? A few hundred, like, I don't know, 500 or so. Now it's basically that because championship's over, so nobody's interested. The other question was, how is the connection between...
The rules, sets,
yeah.
How to break down the text the user writes and your code. Where
this is basically the actions.
Where do you define the rules to
well, the rules you define at... when you go to with AI, you have this kind of...
yeah.
You have all these stories.
And what do you do with that? What's the outcome?
The outcome is stored in ViennaJS. It stays on the platform, and basically here you have.
That's the missing link. I don't know.
No, here.
What's the key?
This is the key.
You define the message and how to decode it. Okay.
No, but the key is here. This is the method name. This is the method name, and this will be executed. This is a method that I wrote, save preference, and this will be executed by the SDK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And you can pass back variables on the, for example, variable info text in the save preference method. I pass this to the context, I add it to the context, and then with knows it has this property.
Thank you.
Okay.
What's your company's goal with the chatbot? Why do you do it? Or do you have any plans for using it for something else? Or?
No, basically now the thing is to make a general football chatbot out of it. But yeah, it still has to be seen whether there's some kind of monetization possible with bots. This is really a thing that no bot, I don't know any bot that makes money or something. So not yet. So because also Facebook doesn't really allow advertising or payment or something. So it's really difficult. So yeah, we will see. Yeah.
On the natural language processing platforms, pretty much tied to the messaging. So could you use ViennaJS with something other than Messenger?
Yeah. It's not tied to Messenger anyhow.
The second question is, how easy is it to store user intents across sessions? So I've come in, I've asked about the German game, and now I'm having a new conversation 3 days later. Can you store that information in your...
Well, this is up to you if you want this, or if you want to reset the conversation. So if after 3 days the user comes back, do you assume that he wants to start some kind of new conversation, or you can start...
If you want to be somewhat human-like, I would assume that I'm not talking to a completely blank wall 3 days later, right?
What we are doing for storing some like language preferences, or the user can select...
But the platform supports it. You would just have to store it in the database associated with the user. You could have an intent last over sessions.
Yeah, you can do that. You can persist it in your database, and when the next request comes in, you load it from the database and you put it under context again, and you pass the context to the with engine. So yeah, you can do that. So there was another question.
I was just thinking, since you said monetization, you could cooperate with some betting agencies. Like if a user says match Germany, whatever, yeah, and you could click on that response and be forwarded to the site where you can place a bet.
Actually, there's one thing we wanted to do or think about, at least. Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah.
What was that tool you were just using to test it out?
The toy or the tool?
Tool.
The tool.
Just a minute ago when you were typing stuff in.
Where did I type?
With the chat on it.
Ah.
Yeah, that.
That's Franz.
Yeah.
Franz. It's like a meet. What do you say? It's an app that aggregates all the messenger platforms, and it's developed by an Austrian guy called not Franz, yeah, Stefan something. Stefan Malzer, yeah. And he's quite famous with this. Okay.
Okay. And stop.
Thank you for watching this talk. Down below you can find our channel ViennaJS, where you can find a lot of different videos about front-end and back-end JavaScript, and feel free to subscribe.